Good morning, students. Today we will study about the complex permanent tissue. Till now we have seen simple permanent tissue, and in that tissue we have seen that the such type of tissue which made of only by a single type of cell. Here the matter is different. The complex permanent tissue made of different types of cells. Those cells having the different shape, structure, but they together perform a specific function, that is the transportation in the plant body. There are two different purposes of transportation in the plant body. Number one, absorption of water and minerals, and number two, translocation or transportation of prepared food materials in different parts of the body, for utilization purposes. So here the complex permanent tissue is such type of tissue which composed by different type of cells, and that is why it is differ from the simple permanent. And in the plant body there are two important functions in regard to the transportation process. What are these two important functions? Like absorption of water and minerals from the soil, and it will reach up to the topmost part of the plant, like the leaves, where the process of photosynthesis occur. And after the preparation of the food materials, when the food materials manufactured within the leaves, that food now utilized according to the requirement of the body for the energy and also for the storage purpose in the different part of the body. So these two functions I have shown you. Why? As because these two functions are performed by the special type of plant tissue that belongs to the complex permanent tissue, that is the vascular tissue or conducting tissue in plant. And what are this conducting tissue in plant? The xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem are the conducting tissues of the plant. So that means complex permanent tissue examples or maybe its type is two. Number one, xylem, and number two, phloem. Xylem will perform this function, number one function, and the phloem and its different elements perform this function, that is the translocation of prepared food materials in different parts of the body. So this is the fact about the xylem and phloem. Now come to know about the structure and important functions. The important function you have already seen here, that these two tissues together, that is the xylem and phloem, xylem and phloem, which are complex permanent tissue, together perform the functions of conduction in plant. That is why it is known as conducting tissues. That is why it is known as conducting tissue. As they found, they present in the bundle. That is why they also known as vascular bundle. That means conducting tissue are the vascular tissues or vascular bundle. So these are the vascular bundle, whom we call vascular bundle, xylem and phloem. They together perform unitedly, they perform a specific function. That means the conduction functions or the transportation functions in the plant body. Now come to know about the different elements. That means the different types of cells which composed the xylem and which compose the phloem. There are some cells may you familiar that will come in this part, like कुछ ऐसे इसमें एलिमेंट मिलेंगे जिनसे आप पहले से जानकारी रखते हैं. मैं यहाँ पे वो xylem जिन डिफरेंट टाइप्स के सेल से मिलकर बना है उसे xylem का एलिमेंट्स भी कहते हैं, xylem का कंपोनेंट पार्ट्स भी कहते हैं. और वो जो डिफरेंट टाइप के सेल्स हैं वो देख लीजिए क्या है. नंबर 1 ट्रैकिड्स, नंबर 1. नंबर 2 vessels, number 2 vessels. Number 3 xylem parenchyma, xylem parenchyma. And number 4 xylem fibers, are the fibers only. So these are the 4 different elements which constitute the xylem tissue. And in the both xylem and phloem, the cells are maybe dead or living. Here may you see, this is the 2 important tubular cells which mainly helpful in regard to the conduction or the upliftment of the water and minerals in the plant body. And this is dead cell, this is also dead cells. Well know you about this, you have seen this one is the in the previous topic, that is the simple permanent. What is its function? They will do their own functions as usual, but they here support also in conduction side or the lateral conduction, in the lateral conduction of the water and minerals. But it is living, you know about this. And fibers, this again dead cell, and it is supportive dead cell. So this is also dead. That means 1, 2, 3. Out of the 4 different elements in the xylem, the only one element, that is the only one cell of the xylem, is the xylem parenchyma. What I have told, that these 2 are mainly in connection with the conduction, and this is the supportive, and this will helpful in the lateral conduction and also storage purpose. What is its function? As usual, they will do their own functions, and also they will help in the conduction of the water and minerals. So this is the story about the xylem. And now come to the phloem and its different elements. phloem and its different elements. Phloem, it is also known as bast, and xylem is also known as wood. May I write here? Xylem is also known as wood. Phloem has the following elements: sieve tubes. Number 2, companion cell, and once again the remaining 2 which you have seen in case of the xylem here, that will also present. The name is only changed here. Instead of xylem we used phloem. Phloem parenchyma, and number 4, phloem fibers. Here the main elements that will transport the food materials into the different parts of the body is the sieve tube, and all these may associated with that functions. And here you have seen here the phloem parenchyma, the function that will perform in case of the xylem, that means the lateral conduction. Here also it performs the same functions, and also the storage, and here this is the supportive. So these are the, but now may you know that here this is the living cell, are the living elements. It is also the living, and it is only the dead cell. So these are the elements, are the component, are the cells of the phloem. So you have seen here in the case of the phloem, xylem and phloem, in both, that they composed of the different type of cells, but they together achieve a special function, that is the transportation process in the plant body, as well as the storage, as well as the support and mechanical strength. Now a brief note here about all these 2 permanent tissue. May you write down those notes which is helpful for you. In a very short form, here notes on xylem. Here it is the definition. Xylem is the vascular or conducting tissue which helps in the upward conduction of water in plants. It comprises the following elements. Number 1 element is here, and their description, like tracheids. These are elongated cells with tapering ends. The cells are dead and hard with lignified cell wall. You will know about this in the earlier classes. You have seen the cell wall is thin in certain regions and forms pits. Tracheids, what are the important functions? Here the 2 important functions. Tracheids are mainly meant for conduction of water. These also provide mechanical support to the plant. In case of the plant cell tissues, it is a common and the basic features of the plant tissue, that if the tissue composed with the dead cells, they can do the functions of the mechanical support, and they may perform any specific function, but besides that they can do these functions like the support and the mechanical strength. That is why in each and every case of the elements of the xylem or elements of the phloem, may you see this type of functions common in cases of those which comprising mostly the dead cells. Understand? Now the second important element, The second important element of the xylem is vessels. It is also important part in regard to the conduction of water. These are long tubular to each other these are long tubular cylindrical cells which are attached to each other end to end. These are dead cells with hard and lignified cell walls. The important functions, you will know, it is the most important conducting elements of xylem for the transport of water. They also provide mechanical support. I have told you earlier that whenever there are dead cells, at that time they will do the functions and specific functions, and there are the usual function like the support mechanical strength. It is the third element, it is the living cells of the xylem, and it is the only living elements of xylem, comprises parenchymatous cell. As you well know that this parenchyma is made up of a single type of cell, that is the parenchymatous living cells placed end to end. Now its function, may you write the two important functions in this. Number one, helps in lateral or side by side conduction, and the second important function, can you write storage, which is the functions you have seen in case of the simple parenchymatous, storage of the food materials, storage of the food or nutrients. So this is the third. And the fourth element, the fourth number element is the xylem fibers. It is dead sclerenchymatous cells. The cell wall is hard and lignified due to the presence of lignin. Lignified. Function, it provides mechanical support or strength, support to the plants. So what we have seen here in case of the complex permanent tissue, that complex permanent tissue is such type of tissue which composed of the different type of cells. These different type of cells may be dead or living, maybe their wall thin or thick. They can specifically perform the functions of the conduction of water and minerals, and besides that they can also perform the supportive or mechanical strength to the plant body. They can provide. So this is the different elements and their important functions of xylem. Now come to the phloem, but before that there are some diagrams related with the xylem elements. Here the diagrams of the four different elements of xylem. Diagram for the different elements. Number 1 trachid, this one A trachids, B vessels, C fibers, and D xylem parenchyma. This is also the same. So this is the some diagrams for the different elements of xylem. Now our next in this part, the next tissue, the complex permanent tissue, the second important complex permanent tissue is phloem. Now come to know about the structure of the phloem and its different elements. In the earlier part of this lesson, you have seen that phloem, which are also composed with the 4 different types of cells or elements. Out of them, the 3 are living and 1 is only dead cell, that is the phloem fibers. Phloem is a complex permanent tissue. It is also known as bast. It is also known as bast, BST, bast. And the important, the living elements, here is the diagram of the living elements. What are the living elements? The living elements are here sieve tubes, and the other living elements are here the companion cell, and the third living element is the parenchyma, phloem parenchyma. Here in this 3 living cells, the first one is here discussed. These are long cylindrical cells arranged in vertical rows joined end to end. The mature cells, here is no nucleus, you may not see here nucleus. They are in mature, the mature cells are without nucleus but with thin, but the cell wall is thin. Their end walls are perforated. Their end, that is, this is the cell and this is the end wall. This is the cell, this is the end wall. This is the cell, this is the end wall. So the end of these, their end walls are perforated by minute pores. These perforated end walls are called the sieve plates, and the pores are known as the sieve pores. So here it is the sieve tubes, which is the living cell but do not contain nucleus. It does not contain nucleus, and there are perforations at the end of the cell, and this perforation is the structure of this perforated part is the sieve plate, and this perforation, the pits, are known as the sieve pores. And adjacent to this, there is presence of the second important living elements of phloem, and that is the companion cell. In the companion cell, you are here may see the dense cytoplasm, and a prominent nucleus, Here is it is the nucleus. If you like to, nucleus, and here is the dense cytoplasm. So here this element is adjacent to this is mainly related, sieve tubes is mainly related with the conduction or the translocation of the food from the leaves to the other parts of the plant. Here you may see one important thing which may you have noticed. एक बात जो यहाँ पे बहुत ही ज़रूरी जो आप नोटिस कर पाएंगे जाइलम से अगर इसका कंपेयर करेंगे तो आप वहाँ पे देख रहे होंगे कि हर एक एलिमेंट जो है केवल जाइलम पैरेन्काइमा को छोड़ करके बाकी सारे एलिमेंट्स में आपने देखा होगा कि उसका नेचर जो है मैकेनिकल स्ट्रेंथ या सपोर्टिव है। लेकिन यहाँ आप उस चीज़ को नहीं देख पा रहे हैं, ना तो आप यहाँ साइड ट्यूब में वो देख पाएंगे, ना वो आप कंपेनियन सेल में देख पाएंगे, और इसमें तो रहेगा ही नहीं। ये तो आप जानते ही हैं कि ये तो स्टोरेज के पर्पस के लिए है और कंडक्शन में इस हेल्पफुल करता है, सपोर्ट करता है। तो ऑन दिस बेसिस वी मे here see that there are the elements, these living elements which are here in the diagram. The one of the living element, that is the main living element, the main part of the phloem which translocate the food materials. This is an adjacent to this. There is also the companion cell having the dense cytoplasm with a prominent nucleus, and here the phloem parenchyma, as usual, it performs the functions of the storage. It has a large vacuole and a nucleus, and the cytoplasm, it is the vacuole, and it is the nucleus. This is the nucleus, After this, the second important, now the second important element of the phloem is companion cell. May you write a short note on the companion cell like these are living cells, dense cytoplasm with prominent nucleus. The cell wall is thin. It is found in adjacent or may associated with the sieve tube. It is found in adjacent to the sieve tube or cells and helps in the translocation of food materials. So this is the second important. Here you may nucleus, and this is the vacuole of the parenchyma. Now come to the third important elements. The third important element is the phloem parenchyma. It is also living. It is made. It is thin wall with cytoplasm, a large vacuole, and nucleus, and made by the single type of cell, that is the parenchymatous cell, and the function is the storage and helps in the conduction of the food material also. And the fourth important part of the phloem elements is the phloem fibers. It is also known as bast fiber, as because phloem is also known as bast. So this is made up of by the sclerenchymatous cell, and it is supportive in function. So this is the four important elements of the phloem. In this way, you have already finished the plant tissue of chapter number 6. In chapter number 6, the second or the next part is the animal tissue, which we will discuss in the next part of the class.